Hey, what's going on YouTube and the Gospel Gambit school community? My name's Kevin, aka Gospel Gambit, and I want to welcome you guys into a little bit different YouTube video today. We're going to start a new series going over the different tools that are out there for chess players to use while they're prepping for over-the-board games, online games, or anywhere in between, or helping yourself study. The tool we're going to be going over today is openingtree.com. Now, I'm sure many of you haven't heard of this website unless you play over the board, or maybe you play in an online league, let's say the Lichess 45 League, where you know your opponent ahead of time. I'll kind of show you how to use this tool properly, as well as to look up your opponents on this tool, as well as look at your own games on this tool, so that you can become a better chess player yourself and hopefully be better prepared when you face your opponents in the future. So the idea of this website is that it connects to both Lichess and chess.com. So for example, here on the right, let's say we go chess.com, standard rules, so that's just normal player. And we can look up, let's say Gospel Gambit 3, which is my username on chess.com. And after we click continue, we can choose white or black. Now in like the Lichess 45 League online, that's for classical matches, you know your opponent ahead of time, about a week in advance, and you know which color you're going to be playing. Let's say you are going to be playing me this week on the Lichess League, and you are going to be playing black, so you wanted to see what I played as white. We click white. You can go to advanced filters as well to look at rated games, casual games, time controls, certain times, whether if they've been playing a while and you just want to see what their most recent games look like. And you click analyze games. And the website starts pretty much importing all of the games played, for instance, for Gospel Gambit 3 as the white colors. Now on the account, I only have about, I think, 350 games overall, and obviously half of those games are going to be white, half of those games are going to be black. So as you can see, we had about 180 games imported, and if you were to look me up, you'd be, okay, he is a 1e4 player. You could play 1e4, and you could see all the different openings that black has responded to against me. And if you click this tab here, you can see, so I played against e5 in 60 of my games, c5, the Sicilian, in 50 games, and so on and so forth. So if you were, let's say, a Caro-Kann player, you could play your move c6, and you could see kind of how I responded to that move. The darker the line, the more that move is played by the person that you're looking at. So I play knight to c3 in all of my Caro-Kann games now. The most played move is d5, and I play the Scorpion Horus Gambit. So I play this move d3, which maybe you wouldn't know to look for if you're a normal Caro-Kann player. We've broken down the Scorpion Horus Gambit and how rare it's played in general. So maybe you wouldn't be expecting it, but by using this tool, you're able to better prepare for me or your opponent going into the game. You can see that after takes, oh look, he plays bishop to g5 instead of taking back this pawn here on e4. What's that all about? You could take this position, go plug it into an analysis board on, let's say, leadchess.com, or if you pay for chess.com premium, you could put it on their analysis tool, and you could try to devise a line that's good against this gambit, or something that your opponent really struggles with. So let's say we were looking at my black games, and we'll switch over to black. We'll click analyze. So all of these are the first moves that I've faced as playing black. So maybe you're looking here, and it shows you how well that we do against certain openings. So against e4, we play the Caro-Kann, and obviously we have a lower score here. Let's say we go advanced filters and we just do rapid games, because it's going to be a longer time control. So Gospel Gambit is black. You can see I just play the c5 version of the Caro-Kann in the advanced. Maybe you're used to bishop to f5, or you can kind of decipher if does your opponent play this move or this move, and you could kind of go from there. So I play c5. I score pretty well in c5. I win 10 out of 17 games for opponents that play c3, and I've won 3 out of 4 games with opponents that play d takes c5. This can be a powerful tool if you're in an over-the-board tournament and you have your pairings ahead of time and you know your opponent's chess.com or Lichess account. You can go look up their games, see kind of what they're playing, and use this tool to help you better prepare or come up with an interesting line against your opponent. Now, a personal way to use this tool as somebody, let's say you don't play in over the board, or you don't really have opponents to prepare for in online chess because you just play at random times and you just click the play button on the websites. Well, you can use this as a self-study tool. Let's go back to the opening. This is me as black, and I can kind of look to see what do I really struggle against. Well, knight f3, I have not won a game when an opponent has played one knight f3 against me. So maybe I need to brush up on my openings when I see my opponent play one knight f3. You'll notice that it does if it transposes, it will add the games up here, and vice versa. So maybe I need to go back into my Chessable course or into my Lichess study and take a dive and look at what I should do against one knight f3. In the Caro-Kann and against d4, I'm doing pretty well, winning over 50% of my games. c4, it's about 50-50. So maybe I want to brush up on c4 and knight f3 and kind of go from there. So it's a very powerful tool that helps you self-analyze to know what you should be studying more of, as well as allowing you to prepare better for your opponents. Again, it's a good way also to see what are you facing a lot online. So obviously I'm not winning a lot against knight f3, but I've only seen it in 4 games out of 183. So do I want to spend time as a casual or an amateur chess player studying one knight f3? Well, maybe it's worth brushing up a little bit on, but obviously 1e4 and 1d4 are going to be the main openings that I want to focus on in general, as I'm seeing those openings the most, as they take up close to 165 games out of 183 games. So do with this tool as you wish. It's openingtree.com. Like I said, again, it works for both chess.com users and Lichess. You just put in the username, whether it's your opponent that you know you're going to be playing in the future or your own username, and click Analyze. You can filter out bullet games, blitz games, daily games. Use it as you wish. I mean, some people have thousands of games on their account, and the bullet and blitz games are kind of not the best to see the strength of that player. Or maybe your own games, you kind of just use bullet and blitz to test out new openings, and it doesn't give you a good view of your overall stats as a whole. So kind of play around with these settings. Use it as a good way to figure out what you need to be studying yourself. Obviously, don't be pulling this tool up when you load into a game online. Wait for at least after the game, or use it beforehand to self-study or to look up your opponent if you know them in a couple days in advance. Hope you guys like this video. We're going to be diving more into some of the online tools that are out there for free. This tool itself is completely free to use. It even has a built-in analysis feature as well that you can play around with, as well as opening book, and you can download different FEN files, PNG files, and you could build out your own Lichess study in the future to kind of study off of. So hopefully you guys found this video very informative for you guys. If you have any questions, leave comments down below, or join us on school.com and check out Gospel Gambit Chess. Free to join there, and all of this information is put on there for you guys, as well as opening guides, daily tactics puzzles, and more. And have a good one, guys.